Kay and Kayla, they have a show which aired last night. They are Mondays at 7:30 Central. They were discussing the baby and what's her name? Like Danny Lay? Yeah, Danny
Yeah.
Lay.
Mm-hmm.
And Rilla pulled up on him. Rilla pulled up on him. He had some
Mm-hmm.
fire behind that pull up. So whenever you guys get a chance, make sure you check it out. But Rilla, what's up with that energy, man? What happened?
Man, blame it on the lead attorney, man.
What?
Blame it on the lead, man. The funny thing is I'm listening. I was getting off work. I was driving home, and I always pull up and support. Obviously, I'm going to support the home team first, and then I pull up on other podcasts and support it in any way I can. But I'm listening to the discussion around the baby, and I get it. Everybody has their hot take or whatever, and everybody has an opinion, and we all entitled to that. But the thing that kept throwing me off, I kept waiting to hear, the sisters have accountability for Danny Lay or Danny Lee, whatever. I'm not saying whatever her name is, but Danielle Curio. I was waiting for them to have the equal amount of smoke and at least objectivity to call her out on the things that she was doing in that video. And I just didn't hear it. I mean, the best I heard was, well, she just shouldn't have slept with him. But him, my God, he embarrassed her and da 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 da. And it was like the more information, the more people that was coming up, the more things that was information that was being given. There was no budging on those positions. And y'all know, man, I've been JR, I've been rocking with you since February, bro. And this space is new to me, some of these conversations. And so I remember coming up, I used to be real green, real naive. And Cash was like, nah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because in my real life things is just a little bit different. But then it's like now I'm just seeing like, damn, I see what y'all talking about over here. And so the thing that bugged me out, I mean, honestly, man, like the baby, honestly, dude gonna be held accountable for the next 18 years at the very least. The lead was pointing out a couple things, and I don't want to steal his thunder, but he was pointing out a couple things, chiefly that if a black man had acted towards the police the way that young lady was acting, done for, over with. And the ladies couldn't even like admit that. It was like being in the Twilight Zone. I could not wrap my mind around it. I could not understand it. I want to make way for the brothers to at least, give your perspective on what you saw happen. But here's my thing with it overall. The baby ultimately is going to be held accountable. He's going to be held accountable by the system. If there's anything involving the law, he's going to be held accountable by them. He's going to be held accountable by brothers that hold themselves to a higher standard. The part that's disappointing for me is the women who aren't able to put the BS aside and hold those women accountable and call out their BS, because it's young girls that are equally paying attention to what's coming out of those ladies' mouths.
Okay. TLA, I know you did a show about it yesterday. You just kind of highlight some of your points. And did you feel what Rilla was just saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Rilla is absolutely right, absolutely on point. When I saw those videos that were coming out where, she's trying to take the phone away from him and hit the phone out of his hand and things like that. And when the cops are in the house and they're asking her to come back, and she's like, no, where is this MF at? And, he called the cops, and the cops show up and they're letting her just search the house for him. And which can't be, protocol, right? Because, she is a woman. Women are people. She absolutely could have, gone into one of those rooms and came back with some rifle, right? Now, if it was a man, especially a black man, and they're saying, hey, come here. And she's like, no, F you, whatever. I'm going wherever I want to go, y'all. And they're, that would never happen where the cops were just standing there. And so, I see this a lot. As an attorney, I used to do a fair amount of criminal work. And you see how the brothers come into court for their first appearance or for arraignment, and they're all beat up, black eyes, busted lips. And then, so to me, having lived through that or representing these brothers, and then turn around and see this, 5'3", 120-pound girl with not a mark on her, and the cops are just standing there like, oh, well, what do we do now? She's walking away. What do we do now? She's cussing us out. I don't know what to do, right? But when it's a brother, they know exactly what to do. And so the way the cops treated that situation. Now, to be fair, I heard that later on, after apparently a lot of people like Rilla and me are, saying, what's up with these cops? Apparently now she has been arrested. And I think she's charged with simple battery or simple assault or something like that, right? But I don't think they would have done anything at all. I mean, it was clear what the police thought at the time, and it was only because she recorded herself being so obnoxious and just disregarding the police that they decided, after all of this community pressure, to go ahead and arrest her. But I see that all the time, and this kind of bleeds into the whole issue of domestic violence, women against the men. I had a woman on my show yesterday when I was talking about this, and this black lady was like 50 years old, and she came up on the panel and she was like, oh yeah, I didn't even know that women hit men until three years ago.
What?
Exactly. And I'm like, what are you talking about? All right. This has been an issue. Like, women hit men all of the time. And, I see this again as an attorney, someone who's represented both women and men for the last 20 years. And also, I am a specialized domestic violence mediator. So when there's a divorce case or a domestic case that has domestic abuse, I am the one that they call to help mediate the case. And men suffer through domestic violence situations. I'm sure there's some man suffering every day of the year, somewhere, some man in this country, right? So it is an absolutely huge issue. And you see, how it was treated when, she's slapping the phone away or trying to knock the phone out of his hand. Be a man and knock the phone out of your girlfriend's hand and see where you're at in the morning, right? You're going to be in the holding tank. You're going to be in the holding cell. So, I know a lot of the people were, when they saw the videos, they were talking about, her being a side chick, and, they were talking about him and that, but it's the domestic violence issues and the way that she was ignoring the cops. Those are the things that I saw immediately. And I didn't see a lot of people, a lot of the YouTubers, I didn't see a lot of them talking about that when this hit. So even though it was late, I wasn't even going to really do this live stream that I did about this subject, but I did it just really late. And I think I was only on for an hour and a half, but I definitely wanted to give my take on it, my angle coming from the profession that I have. And I thought it was crazy.
Lead, I want to ask you something. Do you think that the charges are going to hold? You think anything's going to happen to her?
Well, if it's a simple battery charge, that's a very, very light charge. And honestly, if you try to slap the phone out of somebody's hands a couple of times, it's not like you should go to jail for 30 days, right? What you're probably looking at is a fine, maybe a little probation until you pay the fine off. But, it's going to be a, no pun intended, it's going to be a slap on the wrist. And it probably should be. But, getting arrested and, and having to strip down and be searched when you go in there and, spend a few hours in a cell with people who don't smell too good. That's a good lesson. I'm sure that taught her something, hopefully. So, the worst is probably over. She'll probably have to pay a fine and that'll be about it. But hopefully this serves to let other women know that, you can't treat men like this, especially because a lot of times, women will say, oh, well, I can't hurt him. I'm only 5'2". I'm only 5'3". If I slap him, it's not going to hurt him. Not realizing that, men are humans too. And if you just slap a man, he might have a knee-jerk reaction. And now this is escalated, right? You put this man in a situation where, just being a human being, you hit him and he just, and now, his freedom is on the line. And so, I think this is a good discussion piece where everybody just needs to keep their hands to themselves. And the government, police, judges, everyone needs to take this issue seriously when the violence is against men.